Ross Chastain won at the Kansas Speedway on Sunday, capturing the first race of round 2 of the playoffs. He beat William Byron by 0.4 of a second. Martin Truex Jr. finishing third. Chastain led 52 of the 267 laps, picking up his 5th career victory, and it earns him a berth into the round of 8. College football, Missouri moving up 2 spots to number 9 in the latest AP poll. Despite having the weekend off, the Tigers are 4-0. They'll face Texas A&M on Saturday. Alabama number 1, followed by Texas, Ohio State, Georgia, and Tennessee. There are 5 SEC teams in the top 10. NFL, Kansas City defeated the LA Chargers at SoFi Stadium 17-10. Chiefs go to 4-0. Patrick Mahomes with 245 yards passing and a touchdown. The sports update is brought to you by Old Monroe Lumber Company. I'm Tony Desiri on News Radio KYRO Sports.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hi, welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples can print everything for my business.
Sure can.
And the quality is guaranteed?
Absolutely.
Plus, you'll beat any price quote. Is that right?
For sure.
How about this one?
We'll beat it.
Can you print menus, signs, and flyers?
Sure can.
How about blueprints?
No problem.
What about red prints?
Not a real thing.
What if they were?
We'd print them, and they'd look amazing.
Now at Staples, print more, save more. Up to $150 off your print purchase. Ends 11/2. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details and staples.com/price match for in-store price match guarantee.
This moment of calm is brought to you by American National. Because life on the farm is stressful and insurance shouldn't be. American National. Relax. We're here. American National Property and Casualty Company and Affiliates, Springfield, Missouri.
News Radio KYRO traffic. There's a backup in towards St. Peter's on the westbound side of I-70, approaching Mid-Rivers Mall Drive around toward Highway 79. Then again for over a mile, approaching 61. And there's bumper-to-bumper traffic on 64 West, approaching 364 around toward I-70. Keep in mind, road work started today in the city of Troy on Main Street. That's reduced to a single lane from Boone Street toward South Street. This is all due to the demolition work for the 4761 bridge. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Broken clouds in Troy, getting down to 62 overnight tonight. Tuesday's high will be in the lower 70s. Sky is clear likely. Temperatures in the mid-70s forecast on Wednesday. Currently in Troy it's 79. In Warrenton it's 78 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Brockfeld's Gunsmithing and Ammunition in Truesdale on East Main Street. For all of your hunting, firearms, accessories, and ammunition, visit Brockfeld'sGuns.com.
All right, that's going to wrap things up for today. Full coverage of the inaction of Harris-Biden when it comes to Georgia and Florida, North Carolina, Tennessee. Also, Kamala's photo op visit to the border. Well, we'll talk to family members of Rachel Morin and Jocelyn Nungary. We have Glenn Youngkin on tonight, Reince Priebus and Charlie Hurt. Aaron Cohn on what is now Israel taking on Lebanon and Gaza. All coming up, 9 Eastern. Set your DVR, Hannity, Fox News. See you tonight, back here tomorrow. Thank you for making this show possible. Now, the big wireless companies want to limit you to 2 choices when it comes to data, unlimited or unlimited. And guess what? Both are stupidly expensive. Now stop overpaying for data that you're never, ever going to use. That's like paying for a pot of coffee when all you need is a cup, or filling your entire truck bed full of gas when you only need a tank. Now, with Pure Talk, my cell phone company, you get to choose how much data that you actually want and need. And for example, for $25 a month, you'll get unlimited talk and text, 5 gigs of data, which is more than enough, and they'll include mobile hotspot and roaming in 50-plus countries. Stop overpaying for wireless. Get America's best 5G coverage with Pure Talk. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword SAVE NOW, and do it now. You'll save an additional 50% off your first month. The switch is simple, fast, and easy. No contract to sign, no activation fee, and you keep your phone and your phone number. Pound 250, keyword SAVE NOW, the same service for much less, for about half, from Pure Talk.
Brockfeld's Gunsmithing and Ammunition in Truesdale on East Main Street. For all of your hunting, firearms, accessories, and ammunition, visit brockfeldsguns.com.
The Wrecking Crew. What do you guys do here?
We recycle. Our typical business is picking up stuff that nobody else can get.
People may have a lot of money laying in their property and they just don't realize it.
They do. A lot of money sometimes, and not where you would think it would be.
Where are you located?
Troy, Winfield, Vandalia, Missouri. We do boxes, trailers. We cut stuff up on site. We do insurance work. Farmers, if you have a burnt building or wind damaged building or grain bin, that's our specialty.
How do they get a hold of you?
Call me personally or call the office.
The Wrecking Crew. 636-462-1727.
News Radio KYRO traffic. There's a backup in towards St. Peters on the westbound side of I-70, approaching Mid-Rivers Mall Drive around toward Highway 79. Then again for over a mile, approaching 61. And there's bumper-to-bumper traffic on 64 West, approaching 364 around toward I-70. Keep in mind, road work started today in the city of Troy on Main Street. That's reduced to a single lane from Boone Street toward South Street. This is all due to the demolition work for the 4761 bridge. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
Live from the Gateway Fiber Studios, online at gatewayfiber.com. News Radio 105.3, 1280 KYRO Troy. It's 5 o'clock in the Heartland.
Fox News, I'm Tom Graham. More than 120 are dead after Hurricane Helene tore across the southeast. Many mountain communities in North Carolina in need of food, water, and other supplies. Governor Roy Cooper.
We did an aerial overview to see the damage here in western North Carolina, and it is extensive and devastating.
President Biden plans to visit hard-hit communities this week. Israel's military launching small ground raids against Hezbollah militants following intensified strikes in Lebanon.
Israel has called up 2 brigades of reservists. The elite paratroopers of the 98th Brigade have been called up from Gaza and moved to the northern border. And we know that the Israeli army just a short time ago announced at the very tip of the country, the area above Kiryat Shimona has been declared a closed military zone.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Israel, America is listening to Fox News.
Life is precious, but it could all get taken away in an instant. That's why a 4-week emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply belongs in your home. It's got everything you could need during a crisis. With over 2,000 calories per day, there's enough to go around during times of social unrest, government crackdowns, or God forbid, an attack on the homeland. The food lasts up to 25 years, ready whenever disaster strikes. We've seen mass panic in our lifetimes before. Some were not that long ago. So don't take your family's safety for granted. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and save $50 on your 4-week emergency food kit. And My Patriot Supply will ship it for free, as fast as humanly possible. Get your 4-week emergency food kit now at MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Hey everybody, this is Sarge.
And this is the Burgundy.
You're on Newswatch, late edition, on News Radio KYRO.
Stay tuned. Coming up at 18 after, we'll be back with all of East Central Missouri's news of the day on Newswatch, late edition.
Missouri Net News, I'm Anthony Morabith. About 60 firefighters with Missouri Task Force 1 are working search and rescue operations in Asheville, North Carolina in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Gail Blumenkamp with Boone County Fire says floodwaters were quick to come in and quick to go out, but the destruction is astonishing.
Houses that have been moved from one area to another, whether they're totally destroyed or not, they're not where they're supposed to be, and things are not as normal. So many of the roads are undercut and washed out. There's no power. There's no water.
He tells KMOX Radio that the goal is to search for people and send back damage reports. Verizon Wireless is experiencing an issue which has impacted the services of some of their customers across the country, as well as in Missouri on Monday. According to Verizon's My Verizon app and Verizon News on X, quote, "We are aware of an issue impacting service for some customers. Our engineers are engaged, and we are working quickly to identify and solve the issue," unquote. Absentee voting is underway in Missouri for the November general election. Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft says there are several valid reasons for voting absentee.
They're going to be out of the jurisdiction on Election Day. Maybe they're poll workers. We have some people that are homebound that just can't get to the polling place on Election Day. College students, military individuals overseas. So they're allowed to vote early, and they can mail in those ballots.
Also, those in jail or prison who have not lost their voting rights, those enrolled in the state's address confidentiality program, and first responders can vote absentee. If you want a ballot by mail or fax, the deadline to request one is October 23rd. A German-based optics and optoelectrics company is expanding its operations in St. Louis County. Zeiss is adding a new building to its Chesterfield campus, investing $24 million, and it will create 40 new jobs. This is Missouri Net News.
If you recently lost health coverage due to a life change, healthcare.gov is here for you. Like it was there for Marcus when he lost his job, and Keisha when she turned 26 and lost her parents' insurance, and Elena when she went off Medicaid. There are many other ways to qualify. Visit healthcare.gov today to see if you're eligible to enroll. Limited time to enroll. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm E.J. Williams. Each year, millions of animals are abandoned, and more than 1 million are euthanized before they can be rescued. Organizations like American Humane are working to harness the healing power of the human-animal bond, as animals can be trained as life-saving service and therapy dogs to help veterans, the elderly, and children with special needs to overcome the obstacles of everyday life. To find out how you can help give animals and the people they help a new leash on life, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
Well, safety is top of mind for 4 people hoping to be Missouri's next governor. 4 candidates at a recent forum in Springfield unveiled their plan for making schools safer. Democrat Crystal Quaid says that schools should not be like prisons for kids to stay safe.
We need to have conversations around actually making sure there are enough law enforcement officers and juvenile officers and that we're funding them. You know, we've had the same folks in charge in Jefferson City for 20 years, but yet we're still underfunding and we can't find enough people to work in these spaces. But then we also need to have conversations around mental health care.
Quaid and her Republican opponent Mike Kehoe agree that mental health care is a big issue. The new Buck O'Neill Bridge will soon be opening in Kansas City. The original bridge, formerly known as the Broadway Bridge, was deemed no longer safe by MoDOT years ago, and construction on the new bridge began in 2021. According to AAA, Missouri's statewide average for regular gasoline is $2.85, down 66 cents from a year ago. This is Missouri Net.
You know, a lot of people have boats, RVs, horse trailers, all kinds of things. Have you ever thought about insuring them? Well, if you haven't, then you should. Safe Harbor Insurance. Over in Winfield, look them up on Facebook at Safe Harbor Insurance or give them a call at 668-6296. They're brokers, so they can save you money, protect your boat, RV, whatever it is you have. Safe Harbor Insurance. Give them a call at 636-668-6296 and see how much money Dave and Holly can save you.
I'm Susan Lee, and this is the Fox Business Report.
A choppy trading session with the major averages closing higher for the last trading day of the month and quarter. The Dow notching its 33rd record close of the year, while the S&P 500 posted its 43rd record close of the year. Investors digesting comments from Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Speaking in Nashville, he said that he sees 2 more interest rate cuts this year and adds,
"As we consider additional policy adjustments, we will carefully assess incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. Overall, the economy is in solid shape. We intend to use our tools to keep it there."
The Dow up 17 points, the Nasdaq higher by 70, S&P 500 up 24. Supermicrocomputers 10-for-1 stock split taking effect after the market closed, with its shares starting to trade on a post-split basis on Tuesday. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Success. It's discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us that comes before all recognition. It's the best of each of us made better by the best in all of us. It's what Stifel's been doing for over 130 years. And it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management and investment banking firms in the industry. Stifel. It's where success meets success. Start your journey at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for road trips. We're for covering as much ground as possible on 2, 4, or 18 wheels. We're for drop tops, T-tops, classics, cruisers, pickup trucks, and dump trucks. We're for displaying Missouri plates like medals of pride. Have you ever hit a deer? Yep, we're for you too. We're for getting stuck behind a tractor on a 2-lane highway. And if you're a Missouri driver, we have an auto policy for you.
Call Sandy Turner at 107B North Lincoln Drive in Troy, 636-528-8443.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Monsi Bolaños.
The New York Mets have clinched a wild card spot in the National League after defeating the Atlanta Braves in Game 1 of their doubleheader 8-7. Game 2 currently going on, and it's the Braves who are on top 1-0. They're about to start the bottom of the 4th inning. If the Braves win this one, they clinch the final wild card spot in the National League. If the Mets sweep the Braves, then the Arizona Diamondbacks clinch the final wild card spot in the National League. In the NFL, NBC Sports from the Bay Area reports that 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey has been dealing with bilateral Achilles tendonitis, meaning he has tendonitis in both legs, and he went to Germany to get treatment done. Chiefs head coach Andy Reid told reporters that Rashee Rice is still undergoing tests, but it's safe to say that he is out indefinitely. Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski confirmed that running back Nick Chubb is expected to return to practice this week, along with tight end David Njoku, who's been dealing with an ankle injury.
It's 5:10 in East Central Missouri, and you're on the Newswatch PM edition. Traffic and weather together on the 10s. Starts right now.
East Central Missouri's News Radio KYRO. Depend on it.
News Radio KYRO traffic. There's a very heavy backup in towards St. Peter's along the westbound side of I-70, approaching Highway 79. Then you're crawling again in toward Wentzville as you pass by 61, and there's an accident on the ramp as well. Authorities are trying to deal with that. You'll want to use care for entering or exiting at that point. I-64, that's very slow westbound from 364 toward I-70, and those delays continue on 61 north toward Flint Hill. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Broken clouds in Troy, getting down to 62 overnight tonight. Tuesday's high will be in the lower 70s. Sky is clear likely. Temperatures in the mid-70s forecast on Wednesday. Currently in Troy it's 79. In Warrenton it's 78 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Award-winning severe weather coverage when it counts. 24/7 from News Radio 105.3, 1280 AM. Powered by the Quiver River Electric Cooperative, a Touchtone Energy cooperative. Depend on it.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar asks, ever wonder what it would be like to live in an alternate universe? One where everything seems to work just the opposite of the way you'd expect? Well, friends, welcome to the alternate universe of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. The taste is nothing less than outrageously delicious. And Mountain Dew Zero Sugar comes in awesomely exhilarating flavors, like Original Dew Zero Sugar, Mountain Dew Spark Zero Sugar, and Mountain Dew Major Melon Zero Sugar. Try the incredible flavors of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. Zero Sugar, all dew.
The very latest ag news from the Brownfield Network, brought to you this hour by The Wrecking Crew in Troy, Winfield, and Vandalia. Call 636-462-1727.
Soybeans were lower Monday, corn finished higher, cattle and hogs closed mixed. I'm John Perkins with a Brownfield Market Update. Speed wins. That's why Stein's focused on delivering higher yielding genetics faster than the competition, and why they release more new Enlist E3 lines than any other company. Stein has yield. Soybeans closed lower. Quarterly stocks were a little bit below expectations, but still up sharply on the year. The trade was also watching the U.S. harvest activity and South American planting. November beans were down 8 3/4 at 10.57. January was 7 3/4 lower at 10.75 1/4. October bean meal was up 60 cents at $3.44.30. October soybean oil was 133 points higher at $43.51. Corn was up. Quarterly stocks fell below pre-report estimates, but were sharply higher, even with better demand. And in the weekly crop numbers, the USDA was expected to report significant harvest delays in some areas. December corn was 6 3/4 higher at 424 3/4. March was up 6 1/4 at 441 1/4. And wheat was higher. Quarterly wheat stocks in 2024, all wheat production, were both larger than what analysts were expecting and up on the year. Near-term forecasts for the southwestern U.S. plains and the Black Sea region, though, do remain dry. December Chicago was 4 higher at 584. December Kansas City was up 7 at 583 3/4. December Minneapolis wheat was 15 3/4 higher at 624. Live cattle were up, the box beef higher at midday. October was 2 higher at 183.77. December was up 32 at 184.80. But feeder cattle were down in that higher move in corn. October was 87 lower at 246.20. November feeder cattle were down 80 at 244.90. And hogs were mixed, mostly higher on spread trade, the higher midday move in pork. October lean was up 20 cents at 82.25. December was down 10 at 73.27. Megan Grebner has your full look at the cash livestock markets after this brief break.
Hi, it's Andrew Hoiberg from Calcium Products. Rapidly correct and maintain your soil pH with 98G pelletized limestone to protect your fertilizer investment. Applying 98G at 200 pounds per acre provides a 9.4 bushel increase on corn and a 3.1 bushel increase on soybeans. Ask your agronomist about applying 98G pelletized limestone this fall and learn more at calciumproducts.com.
At the Missouri Department of Agriculture, they know protecting your livestock is a top priority, especially when black vultures are involved. Use the following tips to keep these pests away. Pen birthing animals near human activity. Remove roosting locations such as dead trees and abandoned barns, and scare vultures away with loud noises. Visit agriculture.mo.gov for more tips. There are plenty of mitigation options available. Get help today at agriculture.mo.gov.
Front cash cattle trade activity had a typically quiet start to the week. Bids and asking prices didn't surface. Show lists this week are mixed, somewhat higher in Texas, higher in Nebraska, Colorado, but lower in Kansas. It looks like significant trade volume is going to be delayed until midweek or later. Boxed beef closed mixed with light to moderate demand for light offerings. Choice up 32 cents at $296.69. Select closed 29 cents lower at $282.08. Estimated cattle slaughter was 119,000 head. Up 1,000 on the weekend, down about 4,000 on the year. Cash hogs closed higher with a fairly light negotiated run. Barrows and gilts at the National Daily Direct up $1.57 with the weighted average of 76.68. The Western Corn Belt up $1.73 with a weighted average of 77.15. Pork values closed firm up 9 cents at 95.86. Bellies, ribs, and loins were all higher. Hams, picnics, and butts were lower. And estimated hog slaughter was 485,000 head, up 6,000 on the weekend, down more than 2,000 on the year. I'm Megan Grebner for Brownfield.
The Roots and Boots Tour 90s Electric Throwdown with Sammy Kershaw, that's my story, Colin Ray, that's my and Aaron Tippett. Saturday, November 9th at the Family Arena.
Nothing wrong.
Reserved seats on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture Box Office, located at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster. Roots and Boots Tour 90s Electric Throwdown.
The question of natural disasters is no matter of if, but a matter of when. You see, we live in Missouri and the weather is always changing. We have major ice storms, tornadoes, hail, we have all kinds of things. And it's important to make sure that your home, auto business, whatever it is that you have is properly insured to protect you from natural disasters. Go and talk to my friends Dave and Holly over at Safe Harbor Insurance. Do what I did and save hundreds of dollars. Give them a call at 636-668-6296 or find them on Facebook.
Now we're going to have a word with Jerry Henke from Alternative Automotive on Mansion Road in Winfield. Brought up an interesting point about the newer transmissions and how they adapt to driving styles, and that can actually be harder, wear out the fluid inside the transmission quicker.
Your older 4-speed transmissions, the torque converters in them are used much differently. The 4-speeds, when you lock the converter on those, they were locked with full line pressure, and there was supposed to be no slip between the converter. So on the 6-speed and newer transmissions, just mainly for comfort, the manufacturers program these these things to slip in between about 20 and 50 RPM the entire time you're driving. Any instance where the engine isn't running just perfect, you won't feel it. It makes it as smooth as possible for the comfort of the driver. At the cost of burning the torque converter or burning the fluid, we actually recommend in between 50 and 75,000 miles. These transmissions just shift more, just much harder on the fluid. They wear out the additives in the fluid much faster.
Automotive intelligence from Jerry and Alternative Automotive, located on Mansion Road near Winfield. Stop by and see him today.
Welcome in, everybody. It is, what is today, Monday?
Monday.
My God, it feels like a Monday. What
Last day of September.
What a shift show.
That good, huh?
Oh, it's been a day and a half.
All righty.
And the hell of it is, I can't really even tell you about most of it.
Perfect. Those are my favorite kind of days.
Yeah. So it's 18 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock, 79 degrees. It's really nice outside.
Unless you're outside, and then it's kind of friggin' hot.
Back in July, you'd have been happy with 79.
Well, yeah, it's because 147 in July.
Yeah, it was. Man. So the garden at the house is really, you should see, and you need to go over and get some more.
Okay.
The pile of cucumbers that are coming out of the garden. Oh, my God.
Would you like me to go to your house and teach your lady how to make pickles?
Pickles?
Yeah.
Pickles? Well, that needs to happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. So I have nothing to do tonight, so I'll swing by before you do your thing, and I will I will give some basic pickle instruction.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's fine.
Pickles. You're welcome, buddy. I do what I can. I love pickles. I love pickles. I love pickles with jalapenos. I love it with other vegetables, tomatoes.
And you have a little business that deals with pickles, don't you? Tell us a little bit about Pickle on the Run.
So I've got a company called Pickle on the Run, and we make pickle juice.
Mm-hmm.
There are no pickles involved, but it's pickle juice, and a lot of runners and athletes use it.
News Radio KYRO traffic. There's a very heavy backup in towards St. Peter's along the westbound side of I-70, approaching Highway 79. Then you're crawling again in toward Wentzville as you pass by 61, and there's an accident on the ramp as well. Authorities are trying to deal with that. You'll want to use care for entering or exiting at that point. I-64, that's very slow westbound from 364 toward I-70, and those delays continue on 61 north toward Flint Hill. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Broken clouds in Troy. Getting down to 62 overnight tonight. Tuesday's high will be in the lower 70s. Sky is clear likely. Temperatures in the mid-70s forecast on Wednesday. Currently in Troy it's 79. In Warrenton it's 78 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
People's Bank and Trust is helping you get a grip on your finances with our new mobile banking service. You can now manage your accounts, check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills all from the palm of your hand. Visit us online at pbtc.net for more information and to start using mobile banking. People's Bank and Trust, hometown banking the way it should be. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And welcome back, everybody. 21 after the hour of 5 o'clock. You're on Newswatch Late Edition, live and direct from the Gateway Fiber Studios. And we're going to continue where we left off, talking about pickleontherun.com.
Yes.
And Andrew, please, fill us in.
So I make a pickle juice, and a lot of athletes use it. So white vinegar is a natural electrolyte that works really well, but it doesn't swell your hands up like Gatorade or that kind of stuff does.
Because it doesn't have all the salt.
Well, it has a ton of salt, but it reacts differently because of the type of salt we use. And we have a basic pickle. It's called chili dilly, and then we have one called power pickle, which has turmeric, cayenne, honey, and ginseng in it. So it's going to reduce the joint swelling and all that kind of stuff. And it's pretty cool. If you're interested, check us out on Facebook at Pickle on the Run. Send me a message, and we'll get you hooked up with some. Give it a try.
And viewer on the Facebook is asking, how can you make pickle juice without pickles? Tim Williams.
Well, Tim, the catch is the flavor you get in pickles is from the spices you add to the pickles.
Okay.
If you've ever had a pickled cucumber by itself, it actually tastes awful.
So, now, wait a minute. There's no pickles in the pickle juice?
No, none. None at all. There are all the spices that you would have.
Isn't that like having a milkshake with no milk in it?
Yes. But it has the pepper and the pepper flakes and all of the pickling spices, the dill seed, dill weed, all of it's in there. It tastes just like a dill pickle, but there is no pickle.
No pickle in the pickle
I think I'm going to make some ice cream out of some.
Pickles are down!
Pickles are down!
I'm going to bring John some pickle-flavored ice cream.
Why just John?
Oh, you want some?
Absolutely.
I don't want any pickle-flavored ice cream.
I'll try it.
You guys out of your noodle?
I made a pickle latte one time at the coffee shop. Oh, that was the worst thing I've ever tasted.
Yeah, I bet it was. Oh, my God.
Pickle and coffee do not go together.
I bet it doesn't.
Yeah, no, it's sick.
Like what made you think that it was going to be a good combination?
We just thought it might be a good
place.
idea. It was not.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
It was terrible. It smelled like a rotten trash can.
This is kind of and I'm intrigued by this. This is kind of a park on the driveway, drive on the parkway type thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
We have pickle juice with no pickles in it.
Yep.
Yes.
And I'm not being critical, because I don't know jack squat about any of this. But let's go over the ingredients again. You guys put cayenne peppers.
Yes.
Turmeric.
Yep.
What else?
Honey. Ginseng. Dill weed. Dill seed.
100 million Japanese people can't be wrong, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got a bit of cumin in it. It's got...
Say what?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's got all kinds of just wild, fun spices that would go with normal pickling spices.
Uh-huh.
And then, boom, when you take a drink of it, it tastes just like pickles. When you get to the firehouse, you should ask our buddy Dustin and Jake about it. They both love it.
Do they really?
They do.
Okay.
Pickles?
I will bring that up.
Pickle juice without the pickles.
Big news today in world events. 82nd Airborne.
Yep.
Up and going. They are heading to the Middle East.
Yeah.
Oh, and what, pray tell, shall they do there?
I would imagine they'll be on one of the ships over there just standing by, basically.
I think that's it. They'll be stationed on a transport, but still not good. If the 82nd's coming, somebody's going to have a bad day.
Yeah.
True.
Very much so.
Even in this crazy mixed up world, that's just a fact of life. But I mean, with everything going on over there right now, that thing it's such a tinderbox. And now, I understand that Israel is considering a ground offensive into Lebanon.
Mm-hmm.
So last time they did that was early 80s, late 70s?
About 40 years ago or so.
Yeah, I mean, in a big way. Well, no, that was Egypt. I was going to say the 1967 war, but I mean, that was it with Egypt. And now they're buddies now, basically.
Yeah, but they went into Beirut in 70s or 80s. I don't remember which one it is.
Well, I mean, there's been so many wars, and most of them very short duration.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you make pagers blow up, you make phones blow up, you make walkie-talkies blow up, just at will.
Mm-hmm.
What other tricks they have up their sleeves? And I mean, I don't know how long, if you're Hezbollah or the Houthis or whoever, I don't know how long they can stay in denial about all this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like the Israelis are playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And I don't know how long this is sustainable for them to stay in business. So what will happen, and what I'm afraid is going to happen, is once they're kind of out of alternatives and it's all about saving face and then the Muslim Brotherhood and then all this other yada, 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 then they're just going to start pulling triggers.
Yeah.
Because they don't, to them, saving face is the biggest thing. Nobody wants to look bad. No, certainly nobody wants to look weak.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the U.S. is pretty good at it.
Well.
And I mean, also, you got to remember, Hezbollah has all of those emplacements
along that southern border. And
Right.
I imagine if Israel was to go in, that's the reasoning of going in, is to take out all those emplacements, so that way, all those missiles aren't coming in on a constant basis, and they are coming in on a constant basis.
Well, when they fired that ballistic missile the other day, that pretty much sealed their fate.
Well,
Without a doubt.
and that was out of Yemen. Or
Yeah.
Yemen.
Mhm.
Yemen? Yemen?
Yeah, Yemen.
Yemen?
Yeah.
Yemen.
Yaman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and their response to that was, if you have not seen the video, good grief. They target exactly where that missile came from, and there is nothing left at all.
So that was kind of a reminiscent thing about when when Trump sent the leader of Taliban a picture of his house.
Yeah.
Why are you sending me a picture of house? Just think about it.
Yeah. Yep. But and it just goes to show, with their intelligence service that they have over in Israel, it's been said that their intelligence service is the best in the world, even better than ours. And pagers and cell phones and everything else blowing up like they were. Look out.
Well, that's a really interesting story. So, if you look at the story, they actually created the company which sold the pagers.
Yeah, it was
unbelievable.
The two-way radios were ICOM radios, which we know about, but ICOM did not make them.
Correct.
So the Israelis just made look-alike. Now, here's the tricky part. They had these radios, pagers, and phones for a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to actually work as radios and phones and pagers.
Yep.
And then they blew up.
Right. Yep.
So not only do you have to put the engineering into this to make them radios, pagers, and phones, you also had to put the bomb in them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's just amazing.
And then you had to sit there and wait until they got
And be
dispersed.
patient. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Okay, hit the button.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder about the conjecture and conversation led up to that. I mean, there were debates over, okay, now it's time to do it. No, now it's time to do it. And so finally they did it.
Well, I would have liked to have been there for when somebody brought forward the idea. Because, when they came up with the idea, the first guy that came up with the idea got told, that is the most idiotic thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
He was like, no, listen to me. And they were like, okay, all right, let's do it. And then it worked. It carried out the most precision attack ever.
30 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock, you're on Newswatch. Late edition, it is time for an update of traffic and weather together on the 10s.
News Radio KYRO traffic. There's a very heavy backup in towards St. Peter's along the westbound side of I-70, approaching Highway 79. Then you're crawling again in toward Wentzville as you pass by 61, and there's an accident on the ramp as well. Authorities are trying to deal with that. You'll want to use care if you're entering or exiting at that point. I-64, that's very slow westbound from 364 toward I-70, and those delays continue on 61 north toward Flint Hill. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Broken clouds in Troy. Getting down to 62 overnight tonight. Tuesday's high will be in the lower 70s. Sky is clear likely. Temperatures in the mid-70s forecast on Wednesday. Currently in Troy it's 78. In Warrenton it's 77 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Fox News, I'm John Saucier. Cleanup and recovery efforts continue after Hurricane Helene swept through South Carolina, leaving thousands of people without power. Major General Van McCarthy of the South Carolina National Guard.
We're going to deploy engineering assets to each county. Those counties will have the opportunity through their emergency operations centers to prioritize their needs, and our soldiers there will help them recover as the situation requires.
Former President Trump visiting Georgia today to look at the damage and devastation left behind by Helene. Florida Republican Representative Byron Donalds praising the former president on Fox Business and saying Vice President Kamala Harris is not visiting the state.
When these crises come up, he's always there to engage people, regardless of what you think about him, regardless of the politics. Right. He's there to directly engage with Americans.
Well, Vice President Harris is in Washington, D.C. today. She's getting a briefing from FEMA on the recovery efforts. America's listening to Fox News.
Life is precious, but it could all get taken away in an instant. That's why a 4-week emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply belongs in your home. It's got everything you could need during a crisis. With over 2,000 calories per day, there's enough to go around during times of social unrest, government crackdowns, or God forbid, an attack on the homeland. The food lasts up to 25 years, ready whenever disaster strikes. We've seen mass panic in our lifetimes before. Some were not that long ago. So don't take your family's safety for granted. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and save $50 on your 4-week emergency food kit. And My Patriot Supply will ship it for free as fast as humanly possible. Get your 4-week emergency food kit now at MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the Missouri way of life. We're for worrying less about the what-ifs and more about the why-nots. We're for checking off your bucket list and then making a new one. For starting a family, a business, a tradition. And if you find yourself starting over, we're here for that too. We're for building a life in Missouri and then going out and living it. And when it comes to making sure everything you've built is protected, we're for you.
Call Sandy Turner at 107B North Lincoln Drive in Troy, 636-528-8443.
Howdy ho, neighbor. I don't know if you heard the ag report earlier, but we're going to kind of review it. Hogs are up.
Hogs are up.
Beans down.
Beans are down.
Corn's up.
Corn is up.
Cattle are mixed.
Cattle mixed up.
They're crazy cows just wandering all over the pasture right now.
Man.
Crazy mixed up cows. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, around here, though, and we were talking about this the other day. When I first moved up here like 20-plus years ago, there were dairy operations. Now, I think in the entire area, there's one.
Ooh. Yes.
The dairy operation, and I grew up in and around and on a dairy farm. My grandpa had a dairy farm down in southern Illinois. We got rid of it like in the mid to late 80s. Sold out. But, yeah, dairy operations on a small to medium level are almost a thing of the past. And that's not good.
That's crazy.
Well, that has a lot to do with federal subsidy.
Well, yeah, and agricultural industry just taking over everything. Chickens are gone.
Chickens are gone.
Look at that. Yeah. So now there are still some industrial chicken operations around here.
Tyson,
that we're at Warrenton, Wright City area.
Hawk Point.
Yep. So, but anyway, the trials and tribulations of agriculture. I remember Grandpa, when I was about to turn 18, says, hey, you interested in taking this over? Nope.
Not even slightly.
Well, my biggest problem, and I've told you guys this before, I've never talked to our radio listener family about this.
Yes.
But I never could understand why these damn cows, they have to milk at 4:30 and 6:30. 4:30 in the morning, 6:30 at night.
Yes.
And I was retorting to my grandfather about this schedule, and I said, could we not do something to adjust this? Have like morning milking at about 8, afternoon milking at about 4, and he just kind of laughs. Says, this biological clock thing. And he was a pretty sharp cookie. He had a degree in animal husbandry, so, I mean, that's kind of like, I guess, a cow gynecologist or something. And he said, no, you can't adjust those things. It happens on, believe it or not, he said it happens on moon cycles. It happens on things like that.
Yep.
So I'm like, all right, way more about
You're
this.
Like, I'm out, getting up early to milk cows. Thanks.
Than my dumb 17-year-old bud at the time. And, I mean, by the time we sold out, we were not near as big as we used to be. His brothers both were dairy farmers, and they had some limited row crops. But by that point, he was running the dairy farm at the prison, which he had also been doing. See, and that's the thing about farmers anymore. There's no farmers out there that just work one job. You can't just be a farmer. You got to work somewhere else while you're doing this, and then you get off work, you go run a combine for a while, you go do this. It's insane.
It's crazy.
And this is the breadbasket of the United States, and really the world.
Yeah.
But, especially if you're going wheat, they grow a lot of wheat in Russia.
Yes.
But they grow a lot of wheat around here, too.
Yeah.
You notice I said wheat.
Wheat.
Yeah, one of my favorite movies. The child could not have wheat.
From what I understand, wheat is also sold quite a bit out of Ukraine as well, and they haven't been able to do very much of that.
Ukraine is the 4th largest wheat producing nation in the world.
I would
but
also-
that is not necessarily true. They have actually kept the production going in the Ukraine with the wheat.
Wow, that's interesting.
I interrupted Dodd.
And do you know where they don't import it to?
Russia.
The United States.
No, we don't need it. We're the biggest exporter in the world.
Well, that is my point.
Right.
If they imported it to us, then it would make sense to give them money so we continue to get wheat.
Wheat?
But since they do not share their wheat with us because we don't need it, let them burn. Send over some white phosphorus, courtesy of Uncle Sam, and help them with their wheat crop.
Yeah. Well, not to be demonized, but I will say this. Okay. The best meme, is it meme or meme? Meme. Okay. I've never been clear on that, so thank you for educating me.
Mm-hmm.
The best meme I saw today was no money should go to any foreign country until South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida look like they did before the hurricane.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know that's not going to happen. And so far, the ratings on how Kamala, and Joe Biden,
Sleepy Joe,
they not good ratings. You know, this likely cost the Bushes their dynasty was Katrina. Okay, going into Obama, because I guess that happened 2 years before the election back then.
Mm-hmm.
So it really kind of doomed. Based on the response. Now, that wasn't necessarily all their fault, but to a good part it was. And this is when I'll be very critical of George Bush II. So after 9/11, FEMA was fairly robust before then. They gutted FEMA. They took all the resources out of FEMA and put it into Homeland Security because everybody's worried about the terrorist threat.
Right.
Well, the problem is they didn't leave anything for domestic preparedness. So, in other words, tornadoes, hurricanes, ice storms, any type of disaster like that, they were completely unprepared for as a national organization. That's why we sucked so bad in our response to Katrina.
Yeah.
It wasn't a political thing. It had nothing to do with politics. It had to do with the fact that there was no money.
Mm-hmm.
And everything costs money.
And it takes a while to rebuild those coffers again, too.
Yeah. So you want to know what happened? That's what really happened.
That's
what really happened, okay? We got a traffic and weather break coming up. It is 40 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock. You're on Newswatch, late edition, on News Radio KYRO from the Gateway Fiber Studios.
News Radio KYRO traffic. There's a very heavy backup in towards St. Peter's along the westbound side of I-70, approaching Highway 79. Then you're calling again in toward Wentzville as you pass by 61, and there's an accident on the ramp as well. Authorities are trying to deal with that. You'll want to use care for entering or exiting at that point. I-64, that's very slow, westbound from 364 toward I-70, and those delays continue on 61 north toward Flint Hill. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Broken clouds in Troy. Getting down to 62 overnight tonight. Tuesday's high will be in the lower 70s. Sky is clear likely. Temperatures in the mid-70s forecast on Wednesday. Currently in Troy it's 78. In Warrenton it's 77 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
If you see a down power line, Quiver River Electric reminds you to always assume the line is energized and dangerous. Avoid going near it or anything in contact with the power line. Never drive over a down power line or through water touching the power line. If you see a down power line, notify the local authorities immediately. To learn more, call us at 1-800-392-3709 or visit safeelectric.org, a safety message from Quiver River Electric Cooperative.
Okay, I'm going to send Erica Walters an email, and I'm going to ask about this whole thing she just said on the forecast about broken clouds. I never have understood that thing.
Yes.
Okay, it would seem to me, in my feeble-minded way of thinking,
yes,
bear with me, that broken clouds would mean it's raining. Because otherwise, if the cloud is solid, it wouldn't let go of the moisture. But when the cloud breaks, the water comes down.
Yeah, that would make sense. 100%.
You know what? We just around here we have a policy on Newswatch Late Edition. We never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
That is also true.
That's right.
Outstanding. All right, so let's see. Back to business. It's 42 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock. You're on Newswatch Late Edition, live and remote, or no, live and direct. We're not
Live
remote.
and direct.
From the Gateway Fiber Studios in beautiful Winfield, Missouri. And I've got the Dot. I've got the Sarge. I'm the Berg. And we
You are the Berg.
Yeah, we continue to sojourn through the afternoon. Right now, we're going to turn to Sarge at the news desk. Sarge, what's going on?
There's a lot of shootings over the weekend
Well,
in the
we do
St.
our
Louis
part.
area. Let's
I try.
see. Man charged in Benton Park killing. St. Louis
I used to live in
prosecutors
Benton Park.
have charged a man with a deadly shooting in Benton Park West. Roger Huddleston is accused of killing a man in the 2800 block of Ohio early Sunday. Police were called to the scene around 3 a.m. and found the victim, who was pronounced dead at the hospital. Police say Huddleston has admitted to the shooting. A court appearance has not been scheduled.
I shot him.
Just
And then
killed a man.
also, over the weekend, a woman is fighting for her life after being shot in the neck near Ameristar Casino in St. Charles. The victim was able to tell police her boyfriend was the shooter. She was hospitalized in critical condition. The casino's surveillance video shows much of the incident, which happened early Saturday morning in a parking garage. The suspect, identified as Calvin Kuhn, is in custody on charges including kidnapping, assault, and armed criminal action.
I mean, that's such a good area right there at Ameristar. They have done so good. I can't wait until they run the Metro link to there.
You know,
I'm sure it'll be better.
I used to go down there all the time. I never even saw any nefarious activities going on.
I'm sure that was the case, but eventually people had killed everyone in St. Louis County, so they decided.
So they ran out of people to shoot. Now
Yeah.
they're going to St. Charles County.
Yes, because they're not nearly as aggressive there. They're much more open, and they want to be.
Demure.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but yes.
It worries me a little bit because my mom goes over to Ameristar at least once a week, sometimes twice. Wow.
Just for the
Just to go gamble.
Okay, all right. I
Just
was
to
going to
go
give you an
gamble.
out there. You're busting out your mom now.
Yeah,
So
I'm
you-
busting her out.
Hitting the tables twice a week now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and the last time she went, she came home with like $1,800, going in with like a couple of hundred. So she came out pretty good on that one.
Sometime I'll tell you about my worst night gambling ever. Maybe in the next segment. Go ahead.
Accused road rage shooter in custody. An investigation continues in the Baden neighborhood where a man was shot in a road rage incident at Riverview Circle. The incident report says around 8 p.m. Saturday, the victim's vehicle was almost hit by a car entering the circle. The victim and the other driver both pulled into a gas station parking lot where the other driver began yelling. The victim decided to leave, and when he did, the other driver pulled out a gun and shot him. EMS treated the victim's injury, but he refused to go to the hospital.
It says the police blotter on Newswatch Late Edition. Just getting you caught up on all the crime that's spilling over from St. Louis County into St. Charles County. Sarge continues at 5:45.
Arrest made in fatal shooting. A suspect is in custody for a fatal shooting in St. Louis this past weekend. 69-year-old Roger Huddleston is accused of shooting a man multiple times.
Wait a minute, wasn't the other criminal's name Huddleston?
It sounds like it, yeah. Yeah, that's the same one. I'm sorry, different
say,
page.
this guy's
they like to repeat things.
This guy's getting around.
Yeah,
I'm telling
How
you.
many murders in 1 week? You know, that no bail thing.
Wow.
Well, here's a new one.
That's really picking up production.
Here's a new one, though. The identity is now known of a man shot and killed by a St. Louis police officer last week. Officials say 37-year-old Gregory Maxwell was fatally shot after he reportedly stabbed a puppy, then himself. The incident happened Wednesday in an office building on the 5700 block of Oakland Avenue.
Yeah, that's a bad part of town now, too. That's where the arena used to be. The old Checker Dome was on Oakland. But now, wait a minute. He stabbed a puppy?
He was stabbing a puppy several times.
How's the puppy?
Puppy's going to make it.
Okay, good.
Puppy's going to make it.
Because, I mean, I could care less about him. Somebody stabbing a puppy, you're going down.
Police said Maxwell appeared to be in a mental health crisis.
You think?
I wonder how they concluded that one.
Nothing fixes a mental health crisis more than 145 grains of lead directly to the base of the brain.
More news. Here's Sarge.
One person is dead following a shooting in St. Louis.
I can't believe it.
Another one.
Another one.
Police say a man was shot and killed in the 700 block of Ponce Avenue on Saturday. He is identified as 27-year-old Elliot Smith Jr. Anyone with information on the shooting is asked to contact St. Louis Metro Police.
Dollars to donuts. This Huddleston guy probably took this guy out.
Probably.
I mean, this guy gets around. He's like public enemy number one.
I'm telling you.
In sports, we've got Monday Night Football tonight. Sarge, what is the line on the game tonight? What are you prognosticating?
I'm trying to remember. It's a double.
We're only doing one
thing tonight. But who are we playing tonight?
Who are we playing? We're not playing anybody, old man. We'd break a hip and dislocate both knees. Are you kidding? We're not playing nobody.
Which game is going to be on there?
I'll go get it. You guys.
Okay. Well, while he's doing that,
you guys talk amongst yourselves.
Cardinals to part ways with Goldschmidt. I'm not liking this one bit. The St. Louis Cardinals are moving on from their MVP first baseman. The Athletic is reporting that the team does not plan to pursue a new contract with pending free agent Paul Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt has been with the Cardinals for the past 6 seasons, and he won the 2022 NL MVP award with the team.
And breaking sports news, Sarge, John Mozeliak says he will not return next year either.
Yes.
That is just hot off the presses.
Now, the 37-year-old hit .245 with 22 home runs and 65 RBIs in this past season. And granted, he was down a little bit, but you know what? I think we need to sign him to a 2-year contract, finish his career out as a Cardinal, and let him be.
Well, maybe now that the word is out that Mo is going away, which should have happened a couple of damn years ago.
Yeah.
That could change. Maybe we get him back.
I agree.
Yeah, I like Goldschmidt.
I do too.
Yeah. Okay, so tonight on the airwaves, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock, they'll kick the little football off as the Seattle Seahawks, undefeated, will take on the upstart Detroit Lions.
But that's going to be a good game.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I'm going to put my money on Seattle because I hate everything about Detroit, but I know nothing about the game they're playing.
Okay. Well, you see, Andrew, the game is called foosball.
Yeah, Mama said that's devil.
No, there's 3 innings. Okay,
Yeah.
and they try to score as many goals as they can before they have to go to overtime.
And that's the one with the sticks, right?
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, in Detroit, they all have sticks. But
with all those stories about the shootings,
yes.
Tim Williams on the Facebook, bullets up.
Yeah.
Nicely done, sir.
And if you need more, you can go to Black Flag Outfitters in beautiful downtown Winfield.
We'll load you up.
We'll load you up with the bullets. Yes, defend your home, defend your property, hide your women. All right, it is 50 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock, and the road's just going to hell in a handbasket. Let's get the latest update from Rick. Rick, what say you?
News Radio KYRO traffic. There's a very heavy backup in towards St. Peter's along the westbound side of I-70, approaching Highway 79. Then you're calling again in toward Wentzville as you pass by 61, and there's an accident on the ramp as well. Authorities are trying to deal with that. You'll want to use care for entering or exiting at that point. I-64, that's very slow westbound from 364 toward I-70, and those delays continue on 61 north toward Flint Hill. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Broken clouds in Troy. Getting down to 62 overnight tonight. Tuesday's high will be in the lower 70s. Sky is clear likely. Temperatures in the mid-70s forecast on Wednesday. Currently in Troy it's 78. In Warrenton it's 77 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Get a grip on your finances with People's Bank & Trust's new mobile banking service. You can now manage your accounts, check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills with ease and all from the palm of your hand. Activate your phone today by visiting us online at pbtc.net. People's Bank & Trust. Hometown banking the way it should be. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
News, sports, weather, and farm news for Lincoln, St. Charles, Warren, and Pike counties. East Central Missouri's News Radio KYRO. Depend on it.
All kinds of tomfoolery going on the News Watch late edition today. Sarge, Dodd, Burgundy, rapping with you about
what we do.
What be happening.
Yep. All right, who else you got this?
What other murder and mayhem took place?
Task Force 1
Oh, yeah. No, this isn't murder.
No, this isn't murder.
This is a good thing.
This is a good one.
Okay, go ahead.
Task Force 1 continues relief efforts. Missouri Task Force 1 is continuing to provide help following Hurricane Helene. KCTV reports that the task force was sent to Georgia and North Carolina in the aftermath of the storm. Crews have been searching buildings and assisting in rescuing people in the impacted region.
Now, from what I understand, Gil Blumenkamp was saying that they're both in North Kakalaki, South Kakalaki, and Georgia. So they're spread out all over the place. But they have... Task Force 1 is really cool. And it's one
of the best in the nation.
One of the things that the federal government actually does correct. In urban search and rescue, just about any mission you could think of, they save lives. Okay, and by nature of that, they roll a lot. They go all over the world, basically. They've been to foreign countries, all 50, and especially here in the 48 contiguous United States.
Lawmakers discuss needle exchange programs. Missouri lawmakers are looking at ways to prevent the spread of disease and help people get free from addiction. KMOV reports that the Missouri legislators' Substance Abuse Prevention and Treatment Task Force met last week to discuss options including needle exchange programs. The Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services' Dustin Hampton testified that needle exchange programs can create a pathway to connecting with other resources. Lawmakers say they need details including costs and other data before considering expanding needle exchange programs in the state. So very soon it'll be, you get a needle, and you get a needle, and you get a needle.
So here's what I have never understood. And needle exchange programs are nothing new. This has been going on for, 30, 40 years?
Yeah, something like that.
How long has heroin been a thing? Because that's when it really started,
Yes.
okay? So, and heroin's been around, good Lord, over 100 years. That's been a drug that has been used in one form or another. Okay, so we're going to exchange needles. So you're not going to get all those extravagant diseases such as what? Gynosyphilis, herpes, or whatever.
Yes. Yep.
I have a solution.
Okay.
To the whole problem. Just stop doing drugs.
That's a good solution.
Then it's not going to be a problem, right?
I'm a huge fan of users and dealers alike get charged with an automatic 10-year on a farm sentence.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Dealers, I'm right with you.
Yeah, everybody gets it. Because after 10 years of working on a penal colony, you will not be addicted to drugs anymore.
A penal colony?
Yes.
Penal colony.
A penal colony.
Yes.
He just said that.
I did.
Can we say that?
Yeah.
We just did 3 times.
Where'd you put the rule book, Sarge? No, we know what you mean. A prison island.
Yes.
Okay. Then you can make a TV series.
And you make them all farmers.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, that's how Australia started, basically. They sent all their prisoners to some desolate island in the South Pacific, and they started a country. Now they're kind of okay, I guess.
Yeah.
How many generations did it take? And how did they procreate? Because maybe we don't have enough time to get into this, but I'm trying to figure out the whole Australia thing.
Because they also sent prostitutes there.
Oh, that's right, they did.
Yes, you got busted. You went to Australia.
So basically, you have a country full of the descendants of prisoners and reprobates and whores.
So basically, just like the United States, I think it's why we get along so well.
Now.
Well, no, think about our founders. They all committed treason, hardcore treason.
Well, yeah, and
then they all became their own nation. It's why I'm a fan of Australia.
You know what? I just have this feeling. If you'd have been around in like 1775, you'd have been on the British side.
Hail to the king.
This is a guy here, and I love him to pieces. One of my best friends in the world. But the Dodd would argue with a stop sign. There's no debating. Actually, there is debating, and he would come up with it. Good God, man. That's just crazy talk. What else you got, Sarge?
Highway Patrol urges drivers to use caution. The Missouri State Highway Patrol is calling on drivers to use more caution. KMOV reports that the request from the Highway Patrol comes after a Missouri Department of Transportation worker was struck and killed by a semi-truck near Sedalia last week. Officials are reminding residents that the state's move-over law requires drivers to change lanes when approaching emergency vehicles or MoDOT vehicles when it's safe to do so.
Now, I'm all on board with that. Being someone here, okay, that was involved in one of these high-speed crashes on the side of the highway. This is like last year about this time, actually. It was working for a fire department down in Cape Girardeau County. And we had a car with a college student in it driving into the sun, claimed he wasn't texting and driving. I claim BS on that. But went right through like 15 cones and slammed right into the back of a tanker, which is a big fire truck that holds a lot of water, right? For those of you who are not into that. It made I was standing on the other side of the engine. I was walking around the back side when this happened. But the tanker was what was called a blocking vehicle. So in other words, you hit that and don't hit any of us, okay? The sound that it made, the distance that it moved that truck, and we're talking about a little Honda Accord, but going highway speed, that's a missile, okay? And the sound it made, and by the time I walked around the back of the truck, the debris had not all fallen yet. The debris was still falling. The thing that made the biggest impression on me is the sound that it made. Oh, my God. It was amazing.
Wow.
And luckily, he pinballed off the truck. He went in the media, and he was okay. He got out of the car and walked away.
Wow.
The thing that I see, I was driving in O'Fallon this afternoon, and I think the biggest thing I've noticed is drivers have absolute disregard for anyone else on the road.
Exactly. I was thinking that this morning.
Yeah, they have, because here's the thing, people get into crashes, that happens. But almost every crash that I nearly was in today or nearly witnessed today, you could argue was absolute wanton disregard for others, without a question.
Look, I'm gonna solve this mystery and solve this problem right here in front of Brother Dodd, who sitteth on the right hand, and Sarge. All you got to do, people, is be nice.
Yeah.
Be kind to other people. Be nice. Put yourself second.
Yeah, stop driving like a freak. You're not that important. You don't matter.
Back and forth to my day job. I drive probably 50, 60 miles a day.
Yeah.
Going back and forth. You know how many times just in one day I see somebody make an ass of themselves just pulling out in front of somebody going highway speed just because they got to get there 10 seconds faster.
Yep.
You know what? I would dead stop to go ahead and let you go. Just think of your fellow man.
Yep.
Good Lord.
Stop being a tool.
We are just about out of time, gentlemen. I'll give you 10 seconds to wrap up the day. Andrew Dodd.
Thank you, everybody, for having me on today. Really appreciate it very much. Come see me at Black Flag Outfitters. All bow fishing stuff is on sale now.
Sarge.
Get yourself some pickle on the run from Andrew Dodd. Pickle juice without the pickles.
Monday Night Football coming up tonight. Pre-game show on the air at 6:30. Seattle at Detroit. Thanks for joining us for Newswatch, late edition on KYRO.
Live from the Gateway Fiber Studios, online at gatewayfiber.com. News Radio 105.3, 1280 KYRO Troy. It's 6 o'clock in the Heartland.
News. I'm John Saucier. Vice President Kamala Harris meeting with FEMA officials in Washington, D.C. to receive a briefing on the impact of Hurricane Helene. The Vice President pledged continued support for those in need.
We will continue to do everything we can to help you recover and to help you rebuild, no matter how long it takes.
Former President Trump is in Valdosta, Georgia today after surveying the damage there caused by the storm. He says he hopes people come together to support those affected.
When a crisis